Hello, everyone. So similar to last week, Drew sharing his testimony, I feel like there's some similarities. Like him, I also grew up in church, and so it's hard to, there's not really something I can point to and pick out of my life where I can be like, that's when I found God, and that's when I found the Lord. And there's also not really been like some big traumatic event that's happened to me that's like pushed me closer to God. And so I kind of describe overall as just more of kind of a slow burn and like personal growth and like personal ups and downs within that, just along the way. And so, like I said, I grew up in church. My dad was an elder, so we were there Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, and my church was pretty small and conservative and traditional. And despite that, though, I had a really strong youth group, which I was super blessed with, and so they had like a big influence on my life. And I feel like my youth group and my church and my parents was kind of like the faith that I adopted, and I think that's pretty common, but I didn't do much in my personal life to get closer to the Lord. It was just kind of whatever they said I believed, and that's just kind of how I lived in the beginning. And I was also very involved in summer camps. I would go every summer, and towards the end of like high school, I went 2 weeks out of the summer. And so those really impacted me, and I would come back and be like a spiritual high or whatever. And when I was 12, after one of those camps, I came back, and that's when I decided I wanted to be baptized. And so I talked to my parents about it, and we studied, and I was baptized. It was 11 or 12, I don't remember. But yeah, so when I look back on my like early faith days, like elementary school, middle school, it kind of just feels very light and simple and easy, and I was kind of just told what to believe, and I went with it, and that's just kind of how I would describe it in the beginning. And I feel like that's pretty common, and it's pretty common for it to just kind of feel like that. And there's elements of that that I now miss, just how like simple it felt, because it doesn't always feel like that so much now. But yeah, that was kind of my early days faith. And then in high school, unfortunately another element was added of me becoming very like judgmental and feeling like I had all the answers, and all the people who didn't live like I didn't know what I knew, they didn't have the answers, and they didn't understand. And so it kind of led to me having this like holier than thou complex, I guess. And I just remember in high school I was a good kid. Like I didn't go to parties, I didn't drink, I didn't cuss, I hung out with the right crew, I had really solid friends, really solid family, good relationships. And so like I viewed people who didn't have that and didn't like strive for that as like less than, I guess. And specifically I remember we had like Young Life as a thing in my high school, and so my classmates went to like the Young Life summer camp, and I remember being so like confused as to why some of these people were going to the Young Life Christian camp, because I felt like I for some reason felt like I knew that they didn't know God, and so that just I was like, why are they trying to like they don't do the right things? Why are they trying to like build their faith, whatever? Which is terrible, but that's kind of just like a viewpoint that I just kind of subconsciously had. And so when I think back to like my high school faith, I kind of think of it as like just kind of a superiority complex, and just kind of negative towards other people and really positive towards myself. And so then coming to college, I've been involved in the Christian Student Center since freshman year here, and so that's had like a big influence in my life, and it's definitely pushed me and encouraged me to not only continue like building those strong Christian relationships and stuff, but also take a look at how I was living and like my perspectives, and like kind of figure out how to shift them, because a lot of them were negative, like I said. And so I kind of, in more recent college years, felt this shift of where, compared to in high school, when I was really confident in myself and my faith, my salvation, and very skeptical and not confident in other people's, there's kind of been a shift now where in college, I've been more confident and accepting and understanding of other people, and like realize like they can have sin, they can make mistakes, and they can still know God. God still loves them, and they can still have that relationship. Or if they don't have it, they can still get it. It's not like missed or anything. And I've become very much more understanding of that. But unfortunately, the flip side has also been true, where I've become like less understanding and like graceful towards myself, and because I feel like I'm become more harsher on myself in my faith, and I think that's because, whereas in high school I believed I was doing XYZ or I wasn't doing these things equals I knew God and had a relationship with Him, and it was just very legalistic and checklist, and we've talked about that a lot at CSC, and I resonate with that a lot. That's how I felt. And so then when I came here and I had this realization of like I'm supposed to have the personal relationship first, and everything I've been doing is supposed to come from that. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, maybe I don't actually have a personal relationship with God, and that's not why I'm doing these things. I'm doing these things, and because I'm doing these things, I think I have a relationship, if that makes sense. And so that's kind of been like the thing I've been dealing with still in college days. I'm definitely not over that. I'm still working on that and trying to understand how to have a personal relationship with God. That's kind of more recently been the struggle of like not feeling like I've had one for years and suddenly being like, oh, I want to have one. It's like, how do I do that? And so that's kind of where I am. Just also having grace with myself in that and realizing that God's not mad at me for not feeling how I feel like I should feel yet and stuff. And so I feel like my testimony doesn't have a stopping point, and I don't really think anybody's does, and it's like always going to be a continuous journey. But yeah, that's just like I said, kind of a slow burn. And so I feel like this is a pretty common theme in people who grew up in church, especially if you grew up in like a small conservative church. So if you are kind of starting to struggle with that, then I just encourage you to work on that alongside me. And yeah, thank you guys for listening.
Dear God, thank you so much for just giving Rebecca encouragement and just guiding her through her life. Lord, I ask that you continue to do so and just let her continue to be a light, finding deeper in you and the relationship that she can have with you. Lord, thank you for bringing her to the CSC and just the leadership she brings to us and her light that she shines. Lord, I ask that you never let that go and just continue to grow it and let it be brighter. Lord, we love her so much. In Jesus' name, amen.
You guys stand and worship with us.